Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Lynn, and welcome to episode 14 of my Minecraft Survival World. And today we're going to be going from this to this, amongst a few other things, but the main quest today is to finally put my head down and get to the end. I've been in this world for almost half a year now, I'm realizing, and I still haven't gone to the end, so I figure it's about time I actually put my head down and do it. So it's going to be a little bit more of an adventure episode today as compared to the building episodes, which is what I prefer to do, but we're going to have these every now and then. But first, we're going to tie up a few loose ends from last episode. Starting over here, I want to cover all this grass with sand so that expand the beach a little bit. I'll come back in the future and do more details, but I figure getting the sand down is a good start. Trimmed a little rock off the edge here just to make it a little neater as well. And yeah, like I said, when I actually build my little beach house here, we'll come and detail this a little more, but it looks good for now. And I'm planning on in the future being able to have villagers run around this little boardwalk area nice and free and have them contained, so I'm making sure all the blocks are too high to keep the villagers in and keep the zombies out. So I'm just going around on the outside and making sure that it's nice and contained. And then I went through with some pumpkins and lit up around to the inside. And I've just recently learned that light goes through slabs without it dimming the light at all, so that's a nice discovery. I didn't realize that changed, but then disaster happened. I went back to the house and I saw the zombie. Didn't think too much of it at first, but then I realized that can't be good. I was hoping I would find my villagers hanging in the room, but they weren't. One more place to look. Not there. We lost our original villagers. Very sad. And I knew it was a risk letting them run around the yard like I was, but that's also how you find out if your place is actually mob safe or not. I think I had just left a gate open, so I went around with some buttons to make it so that the gate will close behind me, and hopefully that won't happen again. But yeah, I do kind of... My first few villagers are kind of test villagers, make sure everything's safe before I really commit to bringing a whole bunch in and maxing them out and naming them and all that good stuff. And I was running and I saw these black things. I was like, what is going on here? But it was a panda. I thought that was funny, kind of lightened my spirits a little bit after the disaster we just had. And then I just jumped right back into building, trying to make sure that the beach area is going to be another contained, safe place for villagers. Work on a little rock arch entrance. And just to kind of show you what I'm thinking here is, I'm imagining that the cliff from this side over here, I'm imagining that this cliff is just kind of, the rock itself is kind of extending through this area, and that kind of explains why I have the rock wall there. So we try to blend it a little bit. Went around with some stone and some stairs, changing textures and shape a little bit. I think we got it looking decent, so now we start making sure it's all fenced in. Get some gates going. Had to change a few pillars on light posts to make sure they were villager safe, so they can't climb over the edge. Like there, you could hop on the edge and hop over. Same for the light posts. I went along the side, make sure everything was safe and they couldn't get over anything. Like these are the areas you got to look out for. You got to put an extra fence so they can't just walk over, and slabs on top of any blocks. I had things looking pretty good. Then I realized I couldn't leave this table and chairs here, but we'll figure something out there later. But now that we got the boardwalk all nice and safe for villagers, I'll come and work on that here before too long. But now it's time to start making progress towards getting to the end. First thing I need to do is go into the nether and get a bunch of ender pearls from a warped forest, which I had found in my earlier nether explorations. Just for fun, go ahead and put a guess how many deaths you think I'm going to have in the comments. I have to get ender pearls, and I plan on going to the end, defeating the dragon, and exploring an end city and getting my elytra. I'll be curious what y'all are thinking. But we get to the warp forest, and just dig my little hole into the wall and start looking at some endermen and luring them my way. Made a little mistake when I was out trying to lure a few in. I thought I had a clear path back to my hidey hole, but had a tree blocking my way, and this one almost got me. Down to half a heart. Got pretty lucky on that one. So I waited a little bit, let my health come back. Got killing a few more. Unfortunately, I lost the clip here, which happens a couple times in this episode, unfortunately, but we died. I got trapped between like 3 different endermen all knocking me away from the hole, and they got me, so there's one death. And I hadn't set my spawn point, so I was all the way over at the villager island. Had to make my way back to the spawn base. Just grabbed a few essentials, mainly just getting a gold helmet to be able to get to the warp forest. And I've never been able to do this before, but since I was recording, I just looked at an old clip and looked at my coordinates, so one advantage of the YouTubing thing. And apparently I looked at that enderman on the way back. I didn't think I looked at him, but he got me. Death number 2. Not off to a good start here. And I didn't set my spawn again. So here we go again. Just getting the bare essentials. This time I got all the way back to my stuff and got back to slaying some endermen. Was up to 19 ender pearls, which was more than enough for my mission, so we're gonna start working our way back. But once again, apparently I looked at that enderman when I dropped down, and I tried to hide in this tree here, but then I realized it wasn't going to be safe. He was going to be able to get me from the other end, and my controller just isn't picking up that I'm trying to run, so that's not helping the situation. And there's just nowhere to go, and he's just beating me up. So that is death number 3. Not going very well. Once again, just made my way back to my stuff using my coordinates from my recording, which it did come in handy. And this time I actually made it back. Now I'm pretty well set up with everything I need for my trip to the end, but first, like I said last episode, I'm going to start every episode doing something that I've been procrastinating on or working on an old project, which one thing I've really been wanting to do is build a bridge across this area here and some stairs going up here into our spawn area. I use this route quite a bit, so get going on a bridge here. And this might actually be a little bit overkill for the area. I could have maybe gone with something a little simpler, but I actually think it looks kind of cool. Now we'll get extending the road to where we can start working on the stairs up towards the spawn area. I'm using some cherry wood and bamboo just because I think it'll go good with the transition up into the spawn area. Those colors are pretty prevalent up there. Figured I'd gone this far, so might as well extend the stairs down here. I've been planning on extending the road along this area up here as well, so I was just kind of in a groove and figured I'd keep on going. So I kept on going. And I'm liking it. I'm liking just feeling a lot more connected. Went around, put some lamp posts, really got things looking good, and I figured I'd gone this far. I wasn't planning on doing this at all, but then I realized I could make some stairs all the way down to my sheep farm area down there and actually get it connected to the area up top, which I don't have it connected yet, so I just kept on going. And in the end, I'm super happy with how everything came out. It just really makes the area feel so much more connected now to actually have this area connected by road up to the top area here. And eventually I'll expand the road all the way out here with a bridge across and a road going through the jungle area there with hopefully a cool little neighborhood of some kind, and a bridge across onto the villager island, and then one across back to the main area here through the cherry forest over there. And it'll all be connected, and I will like that. But yeah, you can see the stairs, nice transition up into the spawn area here. Like I said, the cherry wood just kind of blends in with what we got going on up here. And just, I was using this route all the time anyway, so now to just have it all nice and neat and looking good is really nice. I think the bridge actually turned out good. It's growing on me. And just having this whole loop completed, really satisfied with it. Definitely happy I broke off and did this little job here. Part of the reason that I was inspired to do so was just because I figured it was going to look quite a bit cooler from a distance out here in the water. Yeah, not as drastic of a difference as I was thinking, but once we get some buildings put in this area here and get some stuff extended over there, it's really going to look good. Very glad I did it, but now it's time for the main event. Went ahead and put away a few tools that aren't essential for my trip to the end and got a good night's sleep. And as you can see, I'm going pretty bare bones, and I'm just realizing that I've got a Bane of Arthropods sword. I forgot I didn't have my looting sword anymore, which explains why it took so long to get a lot of those ender pearls, but that's alright. But yeah, so I'm really hoping that the end is in this direction. It would be really nice if it was kind of near where I plan on building later in the jungle or those mountains. And unfortunately, it was to the south, which that's better than it being towards the east, because I'm trying to not travel east at all, best I can. And I've traveled this way a little bit, so we'll see how far it is. Definitely a nice little trek across the ocean here for quite a few blocks. Finally, it's pointing me towards the land, which is nice. We are 1,500 blocks away from spawn, so that's pretty far, I feel like, but could be worse. But yeah, I did find this little village here, which usually that means that you're where you want to be. And the ender started dropping into the ground, so we just started digging. Dug ourselves right into some stone brick, and I knew I was where I needed to be. Go ahead and mark my entrance up, make it nice and obvious for when I want to get back up. Then we're just going to explore the stronghold here. Putting torches on my right as I go, as always, just to keep my sense of direction. And to kill off a few zombies along the way. Then it was just a matter of exploring and searching. Finding a few chests along the way. Nothing too crazy in any of them. Did find a library though. This chest had a few decent enchanted books in it. And a smithing template. More smithing templates up here. And a lot of just going down tunnels and reaching dead ends. Definitely happened a few times, but that's just part of finding the end portal here. Killing off some zombies. I just keep searching, found another library. Had a decent book here as well. And then eventually, we found it. Go ahead and get rid of the spawner because I hate dealing with the silverfish. But yeah, after about half a year, we finally are at the end portal here. It's actually pretty nice. I'm feeling pretty accomplished and good about it. Before we jump in, dig a little hidey hole, set my spawn, dump a few things off in the chest. And like I said, I don't go in probably as well prepared as most people do going into the end, but I go in with enough to get the job done. Also figuring I might die once or twice. Let's do it. What a horrible end spawn. Just a 5x5 slab in the right above the void. So I had to bridge my way out there, stair my way up, and I stared right into an obsidian pillar, which I like to dig a hole out of the first obsidian pillar I get to, kind of as my base for the fight here, and I mark it really well with some stones so that no matter where I'm at, I can look and find where my safe spot's gonna be. And I don't claim to be a good archer. This is some of the best shooting I've ever done. One shot there. This one took 2 here, but even that I was pretty happy with. But the dragon almost got me here. Half a heart once again. Extremely lucky. I can't go in my hidey spot, so I just gotta not look at Enderman and hope the dragon doesn't shoot me. Once again, 2 shots here. That's pretty good. Like I said, I don't claim to be a good shooter. And 2 shots there. That's some of the best shooting I've ever done. Trying to show off for you guys. I had to go and tower up to get the ones that are blocked in the cages here. I figure this is my first dragon fight I've ever recorded, so I'm just kind of taking you along for the ride. Here I pillared up to the top, hoping that I'd have a good angle of these ones, and I'll admit I cut a couple shots out here. I probably took 10 shots over here and couldn't get that one. Then I moved over and got this one in 1 shot. So I don't know what's going on with this one over here. It's probably just a little too far away. But this is when I do the most epic thing I've probably ever done in Minecraft. First time using the MLG water bucket to save my life in the end. I was patting myself on the shoulder for that one. Pillar my way back up, A little closer this time. And I got it. Glassed up a little bit of Dragon's Breath. I always forget to do that. Got a couple this time. And now the dragon can't heal itself. So we're gonna start battling. Here I got a little wild there, but I'd go try to get a couple swings in with the sword, and I regretted that immediately, so I just ran back to my hidey hole there. Shooting's definitely the safe way to go, but somehow I let myself get dragged out just a little bit, and the Enderman knocked me off my path, and he killed me. I almost was gonna make it, no deaths, in the end at least. Luckily, everything's real close, so I just ran right back in there knowing that my stuff would be easy access. And I thought it would have reset the Ender Dragon's life, but apparently it didn't, so I didn't have much more work to do here. I didn't even know what did the final hit for it. I think it just running into the obsidian, but I heard the crackle and I saw the show. Got a weird little film glitch there, but we did it. This is one of the funnest parts of any Minecraft world, is getting all the XP from your first dragon kill. It's always such a big step up in your game, and that feels really good to have done. I won't make you read all this, but I wasn't done yet. Figured I'd drop off everything I could and went right back. And watch how close it spawns me into the end to just looking right at an Enderman. I don't think I even noticed that at the time, but I would have been really sad considering I was at level 68. And I probably shouldn't even be doing this in the first place. I should probably go and spend all my levels. But I didn't think of that till I was pretty far committed. Right when we spawn in, we see a little bit of a end city over there. Go ahead and take a look at our surroundings. Nothing else looking too promising in the immediate vicinity. So I went ahead and start working my way towards what looks like a small little end city, but we'll check it out. And in editing, I'm realizing I was probably crazy for throwing these ender pearls here. In the time, I wasn't as scared, but every time I'm watching it when I'm editing here, I'm thinking, man, that could have gone real bad. And like I said, being level 68, I'm probably not being very smart this whole trip. Here we go again. I'm nervous even just watching it. But so far, so safe. And this is a teeny little end city, no boat or anything. But we got a big one in the distance I can see there, which I will be attacking after this one. But shulker shells are a lot of what I'm after here anyway, so we're going to go ahead and clear this out. Sometimes it's easier to just hitch a ride to the top. Get a little start on our armor collection here during this trip. and a smithing template. And I feel like Minecraft's a lot more generous with the shulker shells than they used to be. Especially since I'm just using my bow and not a looting sword, I feel like I got quite a few shells. And I also grabbed a few materials while I was over there, but figured I better start making my way towards this big end city, and here we go again! Oh man, I don't believe I did that. Unfortunately, I said earlier we lost a few clips, and this is one of the areas we lost the first main portion of me clearing this whole end city out here, unfortunately. I did end up clearing the whole thing out. Finding all kinds of armor and tools. Not as good as I had hoped, but I did fairly decent. But like I said, unfortunately, we lost these first clips. But what I did, I just worked my way up this main center tower with scaffolding and just went out, branched off in all the directions as I went up and cleared it off as I went. So you can see I went those ways, and then lastly was the boat. And I would have survived this anyway, but I was having fun with the water buckets. And then in the clips we lost, I had a really good water bucket save that I really wish I got recorded and documented. But that's alright. We got to the boat, got it all cleared out, and looked through our final chest, got a couple decent pieces of armor and a decent shovel here. And you can kind of see our collection, 26 shulker shells so far, and that I'm feeling pretty good about that. That's a lot of shulker boxes. But here's what the pride and joy, elytra. Feels good to have that on again. It's been a long time. But I'm going to take it off right away. I'm not going to use it until I've at least got Unbreaking 3 on it, preferably Unbreaking 3 and Mending. But it's nice to have got it, so. And while I'm here, I want to go ahead and get the dragon head off the end of the boat, just because there's only so many of those you can get. Had to kill a few endermen for some pearls for the trip back. And we did find another big end city with a boat on the way back, but I figured I've been pushing my luck enough already. I want to get home at this point, but we will come back and explore that. Here we go again. I don't believe I did this. Like I said, it just feels so much more reckless watching and editing than it really felt at the time. But we made it. I'm actually feeling pretty lucky to survive the end cities, and I shouldn't have done that with all 68 levels. Usually I would go clear those first, but and we got a nice little haul here, quite a bit of armor and a couple decent shovels for sure, and the 26 shulker shells is more than enough. This is my first time seeing this house coming from this angle and this view, and it's gonna look really cool when we get these buildings built up. But I'm wanting to spend these levels, so I went down and I needed a few more diamonds just to be able to make a few tools to enchant here. Then I just got enchanting like crazy. I probably could have been a little more strategic and careful about it, but I just kept on going, and I ended up with some decent stuff here. Eventually started combining things up. And funny thing is, in the end, it was all for nothing. I made a huge mistake. I make copies of my world sometimes so I can jump into creative for things like thumbnails and sketching things out a little bit. So I had a bunch of extra files. I was doing some file clearing and I deleted the wrong file and set myself back. The closest one I had was at the beginning of the episode. So everything you've seen in this episode, I accidentally deleted. Super sad about it. At first, my heart really dropped because I thought I deleted a lot more than that. I didn't realize I had this one so close, so it could have been a lot worse. So, little secret that only those of you that watch this video to the end will know is that I'm going to have to do it all again, this whole episode. I'll do it all off camera and continue the next one where we left off, but pretty unfortunate, but it could have been worse. Live and you learn. But as always, I appreciate all the support, and hopefully next episode will just go a lot smoother on my end. But thanks again for coming, and have a good day.